here and finds it a little strange, and I can give you a quick explanation.
If they find it strange, I don't think they're going to say it.
Okay, do all of you know what a mantra is?
I've left already.
Okay, there is one person, I don't know what a mantra is. Okay, the actual translation for mantra is that which liberates and protects. A mantra is a sound that on repetition elevates the mind. As you all know, the subject matter today is life is simple, we complicate it. As you all know, we have so many thoughts in our minds, and sometimes we don't know which direction to go, where to go, what to think, and there's just this muddle in our mind. Now, a mantra is a sound, almost like a prayer, that on repetition and repeating it, it brings some steadiness to the mind. It gives it grounding, because the mind goes all over the place. The practice of yoga is really learning to understand. Sorry, we'll just let people settle. Hi, Jenny. Learning to understand the thought waves, learning to watch your thoughts, so that you can learn to control them or restrain them. For example, very, very simply, your nature is to be angry, and all your life you've experienced when you're angry, you just shout. You just shout, right? You're in a bad mood, you just go into the room and you explode. But how do you feel after you do that? How do you feel after you just get angry and get into a temper?
Worked up.
Worked up. Irritated.
Blood pressure is up.
Yeah, everything. You don't feel good. Maybe it's true. Somebody else made you angry. But the fact is that when you get angry, you suffer. Simply. And very simply, you cannot change anybody else. You can only change yourself. So the practice of yoga is learn to understand what goes on in your thoughts, your mind. Why do you have this need or this energy to be angry? When you understand your mind, when you understand your thoughts, then you start to understand something also very different. You start to say, who is the one that is watching my thoughts? Who is the one that's watching my thoughts and saying, I don't like the way my thoughts think. I don't like the way I'm thinking. If you don't like the way you're thinking, just like when you don't like a television program, you can change the channel, can't you?
Yeah.
Just get a remote control, ding ding, right? And yoga is a tool where you use the gift of choice that we've been given, freedom, that all spiritual guides tell us that we've been given, is that remote control. That when we learn to understand that we have it within us, what they call the God power or Holy Spirit or Kundalini energy, you can give it any word you want, Jesus within you, Gurudev within you, it's really irrelevant, light within you. Once you learn to connect with that power source, that wonderful power, then guess what? The mind is thinking those horrible thoughts, and the mouth is just about to create another war and another disaster. This voice that you've nurtured and loved over a long period of time becomes stronger than that. And it says, you know what? Why do you want to go there again? You have now the strength to say, no, I'm not going there. I'm not falling down the same hole. I am not repeating the same pattern. And that is the freedom that you get. Now, while you're building up this strength, connecting to your God power, connecting to the divine energy, whatever you want to call it, your higher self, while you're building it up, of course you're not strong yet. You're still weak. So using tools to help yourself is very, very important. And the tools that we use here in the center are tools that we can give you. You use them. There are many, many different tools. One of the tools we use is mantra chanting. Why? Because the mind goes, da, 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 da. You try, I don't want to think, but you can't stop it. You can't stop it. So when you start to say, Om Namah Shivaya. Om Namah Shivaya. And then there's a quiet. There's a stillness. There's breathing space. My God, I've got a space in between those thoughts that I feel love. I've stopped the thought. And because the words don't really mean much, you're not even focusing on what Om Namah Shivaya means. It's just the energy of sound. Sanskrit language is a very, very old language, and this is where Om Namah Shivaya comes from. So is Latin. And that's why it's very sad that they've stopped singing Latin in churches. Why? Because these old languages have such vibrations. They start from the beginning of time. And on constant repetition, over the generations, after centuries, they hold such power. And so, of course, when you repeat them, already it's in the radio waves. Right? You know, you all know. If you want to turn, like I said, you get a remote control, you get the channel you want. We can do that with material things. But really, we can do that with our mind as well. So we can choose the God channel within us, or we can choose the demon channel within us. It's our choice. We have the choice. Each of us has a demon and an angel. It is that way. That's why you have two voices. And the demon doesn't come from outside, and neither does the angel. Guess what? They come from here. But then there is a higher voice, even a higher voice, that comes from the real you. And that's so deep hidden within. Why is it so deep hidden within? Because for centuries and eons, we've been told how to think, what to do, what is right, what is wrong. We've been taught to judge, 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 judge. So from the moment we are children, and it's nobody's fault, it's just the way that it is. The moment we are children, we're told, okay, you did this, good girl, reward, right? Which is a good way to teach people. Bad, punishment. So what happens all our life? It's a good way to teach children, yes, but sometimes the parents are a little bit disturbed. So the children might get cross messages, right? So the children are never feeling good enough. Oh, am I bad or am I good? Oh, it happened to me the other day with my grandchild. She was behaving a little like rude to her mother. And I said, don't speak to your mother like that. I don't like it. It's not nice. And then she looks at me. She says, Granny, I'm really confused. Why? She tells me everything. I said, why are you confused? It's not a nice thing. She said, 1 minute. She starts crying because I don't really raise my voice at her very often. And she starts crying. And she said, you always tell me I'm good. You always say I'm a good person. And today, you say I'm a bad person. So what am I? Good or bad? I'm confused. How can you think I'm a bad person, Granny? And I realized, you see how sensitive minds are, right? So I looked, I said, you both. I said, you have both in you, like I have both in me. We all have both in me. And you are always a star. You are always a light. But sometimes your mind gets a little nasty. And when you do unkind things to people, that's when we call you bad. But it's really not bad. It's just that you're just unkind. And when you do good things to people, we call you good. But it's really not that you are good. It's just that you make people happy and you make yourself happy when you do good things. Oh, okay, Granny. So I'm everything and nothing. I said, you got it. Good, clever girl. You got it. And really, so, when I saw that happening with her, I hadn't realized she was so sensitive, And many people, their minds are very sensitive. We are very, very sensitive by certain issues because of depending on the way we are brought up. It all depends on your background. And again, please understand, there's no blame here. There is never any blame. It's just the way it is, and we need to change the way it is. We need to change it. We've been running on the same engine for so many thousands of years. We're into the state, with internet, we can get everything right away, and yet we can't fix our minds right away. Why? Because we've spent no time there. We've spent no time with our spirit. We've spent no time with our minds. If we can do so much with material objects, what more can we do with ourselves? So of course we're all in a state of disrepair because we've been bombarded with everything we should be, and if you don't fit in with the rest of the world, guess what? You're bad. So you spend the rest of your life thinking you're bad because you don't fit in with the rest of the world. And that's so untrue. I have so many gay friends since I was a young girl because I was in dancing and art. And they've been my best friends throughout the time. When I was in fashion, they were there for me. They were the best designers and the safest to be with for me. Because I felt really safe. And my husband would feel safe. And people used to tell me around me that it was something wrong. And I look at that human being and I go, what's wrong? There's nothing wrong. They're born that way. Would God create something wrong? And in the old days, in the early 1900s, when they saw physically handicapped children, what did they say? Oh, put them away. Many locked them in towers and put them away. I have a special needs grandchild. Is it anything wrong? She's our angel. My daughter and I were saying the other day, yes, it's a lot of work, but could we imagine life without our Talia? Impossible. We're just madly in love with her. All that she's brought to us, maybe it's more physical work, but who cares? She's also brought so much joy. And this girl, the amount of people she's moving in her school, she's going to a streamlined school, she has to have a personal aide, obviously, because the school can't take on that responsibility. But she's changing all the students. Why? Because she's always happy. She's always laughing. So all the other kids love her. But if she was aggressive, then all the other kids would be disturbed. Do you see? So, and why is she a happy child? Because my daughter always looked upon her as a gift and not as something to be dreaded. So what I'm trying to say is, if we all in our lives believe in love, and we love it when we're in love. We love it when we serve. We love it when we do something good. We like ourselves, don't we? And we all know this to be a fact. When we are angry, when we are in greed, when we're in jealousy, it's so clear we are not happy. So why do we complicate things? Why? It's the ego. We're looking for attention. Why? From childhood? You're good. So if I'm people-pleasing you all my life, I'm trying to say things or be things that you want me to be. I'm scared to be different. I'm scared to be who I am. Why? Because if I'm who I am, people think I'm a little crazy. I started yoga here how many years ago? I was called a witch. I was called mad. I was called this. But there was a voice in me saying, but this doesn't hurt anybody. This just says non-violence, live a good life, be truthful, make the world a better place. How can I be a witch? I don't think I'm a witch. And then you have to have the strength to follow your conviction, because the rest of the world is going to tell you you're crazy. Haven't you noticed when you want to do something really different in your life, and the whole world seems to say, oh, don't do it, it's wrong. And you have to take great strength to follow. There's a voice inside you that says, do it, doesn't matter what the world says. And we complicate this higher voice that tells us, because why? We're so conditioned, so fearful. And you know, my master always said to me, trust in God and fear do not go together. If I really believe that there is a God, and this God is of love, And it is everywhere, in everything, as all the scriptures say. No beginning, no end, forever there, everywhere. Then I must believe in the power and the energy of that divine being in me, in you, in every single human being. And the only way we can be happy is when we connect with this consciousness that lives within ourselves. Otherwise, we are flitting, we have no freedom from one thought to another. One day, you like me. Next day, you don't like me. Oh, I'm devastated. One day I've got a best friend, next day I've lost my best friend. Oh, suffering. Life is full of suffering. One day you have a husband, next day he's dead. One day you have a wife and she's gone with somebody else. Oh, disaster. And there's no freedom and there's no joy. But you know what? It's life. And if you have yourself and understand that there is this great power in you, instead of groping and grasping and thinking you have to hold on to everything, you just let go. Just relax with life. Just relax. Just be who you are. Just keep the golden rules. Keep it really simple. Keep it really simple. I am grateful that I have a job. I may not like the job, but I have a job. I have it. How many people don't? I am grateful I have a bed to sleep on. How many people don't? Keep it simple. Stop complaining. Watch. If something is not working in your life, if it's not working, it's not working. You can't hammer yourself and make something work. What you can do is make yourself work. And if you make yourself work in just living every moment with what you have in your hands, what's given to you now. Okay, now I have this job, and I don't really like this job. But at the moment, wrong time to leave the job. Simple, right? Is it the wrong time? I would say it's the wrong time to leave a job if you've got a steady job at the moment. Why? Why? It's just not the right time. But you don't, just because you can't leave the job because it's not the right time, it doesn't mean you can't explore other opportunities. What most people do, oh, I don't like my job, I have to be in it, it's a bad time, there's crisis, so I have to stick to this job whether I like it or not. There's fear. Do you see the difference? Yes. Common sense. There is a crisis. Difficult to find a job. This is what I got. Stick with it, make the best of it. Meanwhile, research what is available. Meanwhile, send my CVs out. What do I want to do with my life? So you sit where you are, but you send all these feelers out. Whether you get it or not, you have to accept. But at least you are doing something about it. Keep it simple. Life is really, really very simple. But then we have doubts. Maybe I'm not good enough. Maybe this person will get the job. If I don't rush here, if I don't put this person down, the boss may think this person is better than me. Ask yourself first, is that person better than me? Be truthful. The person is better than me. They deserve the job. Don't fight it. If the person is better than you, that person is always going to be better than you at the job, no matter what you do, no matter what you say. It's always going to be better. Some people are smarter than other people. But when you fight with this and you want to be like that person and then you stress yourself, where are you going to end up? Miserable for what? To please whom? To please whom? So you have to be very clear in your mind. Very clear. What do you want from your life? Make it clear. Can anybody say that really loud? What do you want from your life? Thank you. Say it with conviction. Don't be even frightened to make a mistake, because you have to know it that strongly. That strongly. That even if it's something, I want to be a dancer and everybody laughs at you, that's what I want to be and that's what I'm going to be. You should not be ashamed of it. What's wrong with being a dancer? You think you can't find God wanting to be a dancer or a great computer expert? You know what my husband taught me? Do you know, one day he was studying finance and the world of finance. You would think FTSE and NASDAQ and all these things, you know. How are you going to find God there? And one day he taught me a great lesson. My mind was too small. I thought you could only find God this way or find my higher self this way. We're walking by the beach and we see a long line of ants. And he said to me, darling, come and look close. The ants? I said, yeah, I want you to look close at the ants. So I looked down on the floor and I see, he said, do you see what they're doing? You know, I'd never noticed this in my life. But if you look at any spot of a line of ants, they're all going crazy, round and round and round. Everything is going round and round. None of them are going in a straight line. Yet when you look up, it looks like a straight line of ants. So I go, oh my God, I never noticed that. And he said, you know, when you look too closely at anything, it's like in the financial world. If you look too closely, you get scared because there's too much going on right now. Too much going on. They're all over the place. But if you step back from a distance, you can see in that madness, in that chaos, there's some kind of continuity and organization there that is divine. Because if you look close, they're all chaotic. And when you look from a distance, they're all going to the same place. And he learned that from the finance world, reading a finance magazine. And then another time he said to me, he said, do you know, I've been reading this book about futures and traded options, etc. And the back of the book, what do you call it, the bibliography? Yeah? And he says, look, suggested reading Bhagavad Gita. I showed it to me, I go, yes. So he said, you see, I meditate in my own way. Meditate in my own way. And this is what I learned, that spirituality is everywhere. If you live in your own life and your own gifts purely, whatever you're given, just live as purely and simply as you can. But you know, we always ask so many questions. But what if this happens? And what if I take this job? And what if this happens? And what if that happens? Okay, you've foreseen the whole thing. Guess what? It's going to happen. Because you saw it, didn't you? If I say tea, what are you all thinking? Tea, cup of tea, right? Cup of tea, because I said tea. So if you are continually repeating in your mind, this is going to happen, and what if this happens, and what if this, and this is going to, what have you done? You've created a picture. And as you think, you know. For example, simply, if you have to go anywhere, you're working with a computer and you want to find a program, at least you know, I want to look for this program, or this, you know, I want to look for example, publisher, right? You know you want to look for it. So you have a picture of more or less what you want. When you go into it, you have a picture in your mind, more or less what you want to get from it, right? So, for example, somebody's an expert and they want to go to a publisher to write a newsletter or whatever. And I'm just, wow, fascinated. And I go, you know what? I want to be as smart as that person. So I'm going to go to the computer, look for the publisher program. But of course, I'm not computer savvy. I'd love to be. So I go and get the publisher. Don't know what to do with it. How do you even move or make this box bigger or smaller? What will happen to me? I'll be frustrated. I'll be angry. I'll be full of, oh, I'm not good enough. Correct? But why am I wasting time with publisher when that's not my forte? Let the experts deal with it. It's not me. Just because everybody says you're smart because you can work that program, why do I have to be smart? Do you see? Why can't I be me? What is my forte? What do I love? What job comes naturally to me? What's easy for me to do? What makes me sing in the morning? Keep your life simple. Why do we take away things that make us sing and laugh? Bhavani told a really lovely story to me today. She said the other day she was giving a class, I hope you don't mind me mentioning. There was somebody in the class. It was a really simple but lovely story. She doesn't even know what it is. You know, it was really, she said they all had a lovely class, right? And after that, you know how when you feel good, you like to talk about it. So, there's a richness, there's a specialness in a spiritual moment when you're all together. There's something that warms your heart and makes you feel whole. So they were all sitting there having tea, feeling like this cuddly family feeling, which we have so little of these days. So they were there, and one of the ladies said, I have to go, I have to rush, I can't have a cup of tea, I have to buy bread. And she goes and she says, what's the rush in buying a loaf of bread? Why are you rushing to buy a loaf of bread? The bread shop's going to be open all day. Why don't you sit and have a cup of tea with me? And she said, the lady just clicked and she goes, yeah, why am I rushing? And she sat and had tea with them. Do you see, we got so much into this habit, and it's really a bad habit.
It's
Yeah.
automatic.
Yeah, automatic. We're in automatic mode, you know? Yes, if something is important and you have an appointment, you should keep it if it's really important. But when you have to buy a loaf of bread, you can delay it. Sometimes I delayed my grocery for 4 days. That's the nice thing about living alone. It's enough Ribita I can manage. It is one of the great gifts. You can manage with everything. I don't have to go, nothing in my fridge. Oh, I'm sure I'll find something, you know. And you do, you really do. You find, how long did everything last, you know? And you know, you become really creative. You become creative, and simplicity sometimes makes your mind so much happier. It's so much happier. I remember when I was in the fashion business, and boy, I was one of these people who loved clothes. Anybody in this room like me? Oh yeah? I was like, I'm still like, you know, just crazy about, my wardrobe was just never enough. So finally, when my husband said, let's go into high fashion, the frontier had open, I go, whoa, high fashion? Love it to bits, you know. And of course I did all the buying because I just loved it. So buying for me was very easy. The business became very successful. Why? Because I loved it. And sure enough, every time I chose a garment, put in the window was the first one to sell. And I go, I sold my dress. Actually, it felt quite good, you know, because I'd love to sell. It was a challenge, you know, it was a challenge. It was great fun. But it stopped being fun after a few years when I wanted all of those for me. So my collection in the wardrobe got bigger. Because my husband said, you know, I get cost price, take it, you know, and instead of your commission, take a garment. So dumb, I take a garment, and then I used to remember every day going to work, spending 45 minutes deciding what to wear. What a waste of my 45 minutes. You all know, you know the And you know, and of course then we had problems with BCCI, it closed, we lost a lot of clients, and we lost the business as well, which was really a very good thing. Now I look on it in retrospect, it's wonderful, because there went the designer clothes, and I had to adapt back, you know. But you know, it was quite freeing. It was, you know, I remember thinking, because already that time I'd started meditating, you know what, it's quite freeing. I don't have to be the best dressed anymore. I'm not selling designer clothes. I don't have to live up to anybody's vision of what I should be like. today I just really want to wear jeans. And my husband and I on Saturdays was jeans day, yeah, no shop. We get into our jeans and our t-shirt, and I just love it. Now I think I rebelled, and now you're just who you are. Now I'm who I am. I don't think too much about these things. I really don't. It takes me 2 minutes in the morning. Look in the wardrobe. Doesn't need ironing. Quick, let's get it. And so long as I look presentable, I don't look horrible, because I also believe that we have a duty to look the best we can, because this is a gift. But don't just overfuss. So I realize simplicity is so much easier. Who complicated my life? Do you remember, or do you know the days when you're not decided what to wear? How much headache you give to your family? What should I wear? I told you that one. No, but really, I know you don't like this one. What do you really think I don't do this one? Haven't you heard me? You had the same, we have another one. Why are you wearing this one again? But you don't understand this one. Do you know, I really feel sorry for my husband when I think back now, How did he deal with me? But I couldn't see it then. Sometimes I think, I wish I had seen it earlier, but otherwise I wouldn't be able to tell you the story if I did. So I guess that was the way my life had to be. But I learned how much more I could do with those 45 minutes, and how much happier and freer. I feel so free today. It's really quite a nice feeling. And I think everybody should feel that way. I have everything. I really have everything. See, my cupboards are full, but I don't need extra. Do you know that's nice? I have everything I need. I don't feel poor, I don't feel rich. I feel average. It's great. And there was a time when I wanted to be the best, and I think everybody in this room wants to be the best somewhere in their heart, but sometimes the best in the wrong way. The best in the wrong way. You wanted to be the best, and my best learning was, thank God I'm average. There's so many people that are smarter than me, and there's so many people who are not as smart as me. I'm average. I'm really grateful. Because if you're really, really smart, sometimes you have no peace, because you're always keeping up that image. Do you know how many very intelligent people I know that I've looked up to? And since I started this work, look, now I really don't know why I looked up to them. They have severe depression. They suffer from severe depressions. You know why? Because they're constantly feeling that that's what people like them for, their intelligence, that they have to keep smart all the time. If they don't keep smart all the time, oh my God, they're not, nobody will approve of them. Do you know? That's the war they have in their minds. And I ask myself, a human life is so very, very precious. Our time on earth is so wonderfully gifted to us. How do you want to spend your day? How do you want to spend your day? Simply. Try not to complicate your life. I know many people have children. I was there. You have to go to work, husband and wife, screaming at each other in the morning. My advice, I actually did do this, so I can give you advice. Sort out the uniforms at night. Sort out what you're going to wear at night. Get up in the morning, gently. Give each other a kiss in the cheek. Good morning. Everybody, breakfast at 8 o'clock. Let them get ready, each one, to their own time. Breakfast, 8 o'clock. Everybody sits around the breakfast. You start talking, and what the one we used to stress was, the bus is coming, guys, better go to school now. But we had that precious time. That precious time that my daughter even, when I was in hospital, said to me, and my son said to me, Mom, you, me, and Dad, we were like 4 of us, special time. When we had breakfast together, when we had dinner together. I thought the whole world would be like that. We had special time in the morning. We didn't rush our mornings. Thank God we're all morning people. But But you can make yourself a morning person. You don't have to say, I am not a morning person. I'm not a morning person. You won't be a morning person. And you sit down and you don't have to rush. You say, why have I rushed so many years? For what? For my clothes? Or for my computer? Sit there in the morning? And what have I lost? The communication with my family, the chat. Darling, what are you going to do today? What are your plans today? Oh, today I plan to do this and this and this. What do you plan to do today? Okay, there's a closeness, there's a warmth, there's a meaning. You leave your home with a glow. You come back with a glow because there's something gentle and kind and loving, something that is God to look forward to. For me, God is that feeling of peace, to walk in a home that is peaceful, that is not agitated with what people should tell me, the way people tell me I should be. Because that's what I hear, people talking to me like that all day long. They go home to their husbands or their wives and say, you should have done this because this person thought this and I should have done this. Now what are they going to think of me? And all day long they're thinking like this. And I ask them, who's going to be at your deathbed? All these people? I'll tell you who was at my husband's deathbed. Yes, he had lots of business, great. It's me, my son, and my daughter. So who are you pleasing? Sacrifice everything? For what? Don't you know you are given the best for you? Can't you have your eyes to see it? Why is everybody else's something better than your something? Why can't yours be the best? How have we been conditioned to believe that we have the worst and everybody else has better than us? The best we have is right here. So we spend our entire lives pleasing everybody and a whole life feeling unfulfilled. Is it worth it? Is it worth it? So you have to ask yourself, what do you want at the end of the day? What do you want at the end of the day? And what did you answer? Peace. Right? Very clearly. The next step, once you know very clearly, how do you get your peace? The way I get my peace, like I said earlier on, is my meditation, reading lovely books, getting up at 5:30, 5:30 to 7:30. Wow, it's my best time in my life. That's how I get my peace. And then the whole day trying to live that truth out. How do you, my husband, was his computer learning all these things through there? How do you get your peace? Ask yourself. Look deeply. Whatever you do in life, see, spirituality is not separated from your job, from your home. It's not what you just practice in churches or places like this. Spirituality is living every single minute in that energy field. Knowing you are spirit, really a spirit having a physical experience. And for me, the easy way to get this connection is through love, seeing the God in everyone. Sometimes they are not in God because their minds are so confused. Then you think, my God, they're really disturbed. But there is a light in them. Let me try to bring out that light in them. They're in such a dark place, they can't see the light. I believe that's our job on earth, all of us. When people are lost and they're in this dark place, and there's so many more these days, you just won't believe how many people have lost touch with their spirit, with their quiet time, with themselves. Is to help to draw that spirit out. How do you draw it out? Not by preaching at them. Not by telling them how to live their lives. If you lived your life like that, you meditated like me, then you would be like, oh, please don't preach. Oh my God, why would I want to be like you when you shout like that? And you have this huge ego thinking you're better than me. Why would I want to listen to you? By being that symbol of kindness is really cruel. For me, it's so ungodlike to point fingers at people and say, if you did it this way, and you did it this way, and you did. If you don't like the way they do it, you show them how it should be done. You show them how it should be done, by example. And if they don't like it, and your energy field is too high, guess what? Whether you like it or not, they cannot stay with you. Because when your energy field is too high, people of lower energy will automatically leave. Did you know that? It's an incredible study I have been making the last 20 years. When I had my friends and I started to meditate and think, I believe in truthfulness, very quickly I lost many of my friends. You know why? I was too much a goody-goody. They wanted to do their things. Fine, I wasn't judging them. But they left me. So I didn't even have to say, look, I don't like the gossip anymore. I don't like the coffee mornings anymore. I can't waste that. It doesn't make me happy. So bye. I'm quite happy with my simple life. Go to the shop, do my job, make a living for my kids, do my dance. I am so happy. But I didn't have to tell them to go away. It happened automatically. They just dropped me. And many, many years later, all of them have come back. It's quite interesting, isn't it? Because they found themselves too. Isn't that great? They found there's more to life than just the material. We all have our time to find it. So don't go around judging other people. But follow your truth. And when people can't deal with your truth, they will leave you. You don't have to force anything apart. You don't have to tear anything up. The time will come, your soul. Do you know so many people? It's amazing. The amount of people that have told me, I have this feeling that I need to change. I have this feeling that I need to do this. But I feel guilty to do it because it sounds like I'm doing something cruel. And I said, you've been having that feeling for how many years now? You're not doing anything cruel. You're just saying it as it is. Sometimes things are just the way it is. And the only cruel act you are applying is to yourself. Because you have not respected who you are as a human being. This is the way you really feel. Why are you feeling this way? Why are you fighting you? It's who you are. Nobody's going to approve. It's better just to keep quiet now, not to say anything. I'll create too much fuss. I said, okay, then go and have a heart attack and die yourself. Then what good are you to anybody? Or carry the weight for the rest of your life. That's the way how you want to live. Live it. Sometimes there's a voice, I don't know why karma comes like this. Things have to change, things have to move. You don't really want them to, but it just moves you. The earth moves you. When you have those moments in your life, pray hard. Pray really hard and ask for guidance. But when you get an answer, it may not be the answer you want. Trust that too. So long as you know that in your very own heart, that you are aiming for the highest good for yourself and everybody else included, follow it. What does the Bhagavad Gita say? There is no peace in a mind that is full of fear, guilt, anger, and worry. What does Lord Jesus say? Forgive. Does not your Father in heaven forgive you many more times? When Peter asked him, how many times should I forgive? He answers 70 times 7. Has not your Father in heaven forgiven you many, many more times? And then we're told, you do something bad, you're going to go to hell. Doesn't make sense to me. Does it make sense to you? Common sense? We don't send our kids to hell when they do something wrong. You think God the Father is going to do it? do that to us, heaven and hell are on this earth. And that's why the Lord's Prayer, Our Father who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Live in that name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done on earth as it is in heaven. So where should your heaven be? Who makes it a heaven on earth? Yourself. Give us this day our daily bread. What is your daily bread? Spiritual. Your spiritual feeding is your daily bread. The love, the kindness, the goodness, that is bread. Isn't that bread for you? When are you happiest? When somebody tells you, you know, I really care for you. Don't you feel good? Say, I love you. Don't you feel happy? Do you know, I love that you did that kind act. How do you feel? Great. You walk down Main Street, everybody's got a long face, and suddenly somebody goes, wow, you look great today. You feel happy, right? Daily bread of goodness, kindness, not flattery, not anything that's not truthful, right? But, and forgive us our trespasses. Forgive us. It doesn't even say sin, trespasses. That means getting into somebody's way. Forgive us if we get in somebody else's way. As we forgive those who trespass against us, as we forgive those who come into our way. And what's the next line?
Lead us not
And lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. That's the really important one. Temptation is here every day. What is the temptation? To complicate your life or simplify it?
complicate.
Brooding over, what is it?
Bhagavad, yeah, you guys are getting good, huh? And we'll do that right now. That's a good sutra, sloka to quote.
Common sense is not so common anymore.
By brooding.
Okay, I'll go through it now. By brooding in the Bhagavad Gita, chapter 2, I think it's sloka 61 and 62?
Yes.
Yeah. It's around there, 62 or 63.
63, yeah.
By brooding on sense objects. What is brooding? Anybody can answer? What does brooding mean to you?
I want to.
Hankering on. I want relationships, money, whatever. These days it's everything. Everything. People are brooding over everything. Right, brooding over sense objects. Sense objects is something you can touch, feel, all that, all the senses, right? Comes attachment to them. When you think about something all the time, the more you think about it, what happens? The more you want it, right? From attachment comes the desire. I have to have it. When the desire is not fulfilled, what happens?
Anger.
You get angry. Why can't I have it? It's your fault. You don't work enough hours a day. I'm the one making more money. You're making less. You're the man or you're the woman else. Well, no. You should look after the kids. Well, whoa. All because you are brooding on a sense object. You've created a war in your own home. And from anger, what happens?
Hatred is
Memory
gone.
is lost.
You, good girl. You lose all common sense. You forget the truth. You only remember the bad. You forget all the good that's happened in your life. When you're so angry, haven't you noticed? It's like common sense is out the window. That's why when people get so angry, they break things and they don't even remember that they break things and throw things and, you know, because they get so angry. Lost. When that happens, one is totally lost and ruined and miserable. And all from brooding, grasping. The Buddhists would say, I want, I need, I have to have. We complicate our lives. Keep it simple. You know, I love this saying when I heard it. God provides our every need, not our every greed. So if you don't have it, you don't need it. Look at what you have now. It's really very simple. This is what I have now. This is all I have. so I have to make the best of this and then find a solution. But don't think good, bad. If I do this, what will people say? If I take that action, what will people say? But everybody will have their own opinion. And you'll get a million opinions. And one day you're really happy because you talked to a friend and told you, do this, do this. I'm really clear. And then the next day you go to another friend. No, you shouldn't do this. Why should you take this? You shouldn't do it. Why are you taking that nonsense? You're really unclear. And make it simple. Listen to your God voice. It's the only one that will not lie to you. Remember, when you are dying, you're the only one, or ill, you're the only one in that body that will understand what the body is going through. Nobody can do that for you. So if you remember that, the last minute, nobody can take your pain away from you except yourself. Remember that while you have your healthy moments, the same truth applies. Don't wait till it's late. Now, every minute, develop your communication with that higher source, that higher power, because dust to dust, ashes to ashes. This is all going. Ensure in your spiritual life, it's the only thing you're guaranteed, that you're going to be energy. Heaven, hell, right here on earth. And our master always told us, that's the only choice we have. It's the only choice we have. We don't have any other choices, but the choice we have is to make our world a heaven or make it a hell. When we complicate stuff in our mind, it becomes hellish. Sometimes when people come to me and I hear all these thoughts in their mind, I go, oh, I'm so glad I don't live in your mind. I don't feel like I'm in hell. I would. I don't want to be in hell. Keep it simple, you know? And it's not difficult to do. If I can do it, you can all do it. It's so difficult. Yes, the mind will keep doing this at times. And the world will complicate it. This is why really, really spend some time with yourself in silence. Learn to understand your own strengths and your own weaknesses. And if you don't like silence, then pray. You can talk to God, you can pray. You make up your own prayer, it doesn't matter. You can pray to the universe or the light, whatever. You pray, you ask, help me. You know, there's really this energy that I'm coming from. Well, this puny little mind doesn't understand anything. It's so complicated at the moment. Help me. And you know what? You will always get help. That I can guarantee you. Every time I've asked for help, it comes. And every time faster. Because my faith is stronger. Who's built up the faith? Me. Who builds up your faith? You. Learn that God power is within you, and that's the choice we've been given. We can either follow that God power, which I call our angel within us, or we can follow the demon. The demon will always say everything else is better. Oh, what do you want to meditate? You can do that when you're old. You may not get old. You may not live till you're old. Eat what you want, do what you want, drink what you want, smoke what you want. We all have to die anyway. Really? Is that how you want to live? Drunk off your life? And never enjoy the taste of living so beautifully and simply? It's really, haven't you noticed? Please notice this. Start to really notice this. The moments that make you feel so rich in your life. Pardon? When?
The simplest.
The simplest.
To get home and put your slippers on.
Yeah, me as PJs. Yes. You see how simple, such simple things make you so happy. Why complicate it with all the others? For me, it's the same. I love to get my PJs. I don't know why we can't go out in pajamas.
That's all we need here in jail.
We really create something. Really create something.
It is the simple.
No, it's, jokes aside, it's really, keep it. Why do we complicate it? And if you really are truthful to yourself, if you're really truthful to yourself, you complicate your life because you're always looking for approval from the world. You're always looking for approval from your parents.